Okay, welcome to this full guide to how to achieve primal health in your 20s, specifically how to start building your foundations while you're young. I've said this for 20s because that's the kind of audience I want to attract and help. I'm 23 myself and I only started this diet quite recently and it's been completely life-changing. My acne has completely cleared up, which I don't know if I've actually put in here, which I should have, but unfortunately not. I might just edit it in. My body, my physique is the best it's ever looked. I'm the healthiest and the sharpest I've ever been. So essentially this video is a way of me helping my 18-year-old self with his foundations into his 30s and 40s and 50s. But it really just applies to anybody and you can start this at any age. So let's get straight into it. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. Before we start, massive respect to you for locking in. Most guys don't actually sit through videos like this, so if you still haven't clicked off, you're doing better than 99% of people in terms of attention span. So thank you for tuning in, and again, massive respect to you. Now, this diet is tailored for high performance. What that means is we're focused on not only physical energy, but mental energy as well. We want to have as many brain points as possible to use for creative projects or thinking, and also physical performance for things like exercises or any physical tasks, not getting tired and not getting sleepy throughout the day. So that means no more mental brain crashes, completely changing your metabolism and actually fixing it. No more gut issues, and again, actually fixing it. Pure nutrition and fulfilling food, which means no more getting hungry throughout the day, no more midnight snacking, and actually feeling full and getting the nutrition that your body needs. Higher energy levels, like we spoke about, testosterone friendly, which is really important as well. Most foods these days, ultra processed foods, and also the way they're packaged. And on top of that, cosmetic items that you might be using like skincare, shampoos, and conditioners are pumped with hormone disrupting chemicals, which we want to avoid as well. So I might share a couple of those in this video as well. And last point, it is super easy to stay lean 24/7 forever with this diet. And I guarantee that to you. If you establish the basics, it will be super easy for you to maintain a lean and shredded physique for the rest of your life. If you're already overweight, you obviously want to, get down to that physique first with working out and doing cardio and whatnot. But this diet really solves a lot of those issues. So every part of your life benefits: school, career, business, relationships, sports, gym, and self-development. Generally, having higher energy means you just perform better in life. So here's a high value tip that you can implement. And this is exactly what I do day in, day out, honestly. And it's worked super, super well for me considering I'm doing content and trying to build an online business, as well as working 5 to 11-hour shifts on any given day, while trying to also go to the gym as well, which honestly, I've been lacking on a lot recently. However, that being said, also with this diet, if you sustain it, you can maintain a physique much, much longer and the weight much longer, even without working out as well. So here's the high value tip. Fasting throughout most of the day, especially if you're focusing on mentally demanding tasks. So again, if you're using your mind to, let's say, write or create content or talk to clients and coach people, you need that mental energy, you need that clarity. So what I do is I do the most important and mentally demanding tasks first thing in the morning, and I actually fast till about 5 p.m. on that day. So I won't eat anything big, major that will require me to obviously use my digestive system. I might snack here and there. I'll have a coffee. I might bite into some cheese. I might have a fruit here and there, but nothing crazy, so that I'm completely focused and I'm still mentally clear and I don't have any brain fog. Now, I use this again for studying, improving skills, building a business. If you're not doing these things and instead you're doing the most intense task that you do in the morning is physical exercise or manual work, a job, whatever it is, carpentry, which I did actually. So respect to you if you're doing carpentry. You do want to eat. I would recommend you eat for that physical power and energy as well. So if that applies to you, go on. So let's get into the next topic. Everything you do now shapes who you will become in your 30s. We'll blow past this a little bit and then we'll get into the guide. Nobody becomes unhealthy overnight. This is all done on purpose. So don't make excuses. This is all your fault. This is all your responsibility. So that means you can actually take control of it. If you make excuses and you say, oh, this isn't my fault and it's somebody else's fault, well, guess what? Now you can't do anything about it. Now you're going to be overweight forever, okay? You're going to be unhealthy forever. If you take responsibility and say, yes, this is all my fault because I keep doing this, okay, now we have things that we can solve and we can actually work on. So we need to take responsibility. This way of eating can absolutely transform you now and build incredible foundations for your 30s. That's why I'm starting to eat this way so early, and that's why I'm only cheating, which I'll actually get into. I've kind of put into my lifestyle the Pareto principle. When I first started, I was very strict. I was not eating any bullshit at all whatsoever to like cleanse the system. But over time, I've actually gone down to 80% of the time I eat super clean, or I don't even eat, I'm fasting. And then 20% of the time I'll actually cheat here and there, and my body can handle it, no problem. I won't get any new breakouts. Sometimes it happens if I eat too much. I won't get any weight. I won't see any unhealthy or weird things. I'll experience the sugar in the moment, but nothing will carry on, in the long term. Unfortunately, the brutal statistic is 70% of people above 30 are overweight, which is just ridiculous. And again, we can actually do something about this. So hopefully people see this video, young guys see this video. Poor diet is the cause of all mortality, stress, free radicals, cancer, etc. What that means is when we're eating shit like McDonald's and seed oils, that actually contributes to these diseases. And so it causes us to die early, essentially. And you probably didn't know the last point, but food changes your genetic information, neural networks, hormones, physique, and therefore life. This is very important. The food, like the cliche that they say, you are what you eat, is actually really true. Food has a bigger impact on your body than you realize, and it changes you in the genetic and the mental level. So let's dive into the guide. You want to eat healthy, but the issues are you don't know where to start. There's too much conflicting information. You think it's too expensive to eat healthy, which these are all things that I went through. So that's why I'm writing these down. You live with other people who don't care. So your fridge is filled with snacks and shit. And sometimes you fall for it and it's their fault. No, it's your fault. Take responsibility for it. It's too impractical to always cook and clean. Can't find time to even do shopping. Healthy food doesn't taste that great. I'm going to pump through all of these objections in this guide. Let's go. So what the fuck is actually primal eating? If you've made it this far, let's get into the source. Massive respect to you again for actually locking in and deciding to change your life. So let's get to it. I wish my 18-year-old self found this video, man. Honestly, that's why I'm making it. On the right, you've got this beautiful meal. Primal eating is simply eating natural foods from what nature has provided to us and what our ancestors have been eating. If we look on the right, I've got avocados, which are fruits that can be picked from a tree during the season that they're available. Think about our ancestors walking around, exploring the nearby grazing fields in any given country, wherever they are, and they're looking for food. So we've got avocados. And then right next to the avocados, we've got steak, rare steak. Now think about again, our ancestors. We've probably hunted a few game out here and there, and we've got meat. Then we've found some mushrooms, some wild mushrooms, and luckily they're edible and they're not psychedelic. And then we've got some chicken eggs. So we might have gotten duck eggs or ostrich eggs or chicken eggs if they existed at the time. But these are all natural foods. They're all single ingredients as well. Pay attention to that. These are the most important principles I'm running you through right now. These are ancestral foods, because our ancestors would be eating these, but also on top of that, there's single ingredient foods and whole foods. So pay attention to that. Now, a couple other things that we will mention through images, and these are all foods that I've taken pictures of so that I actually eat, and they serve as inspiration. Actually, I was going to get into this later, but let me break down the nutrition value of the plate that we have here. This is my breakfast, and I eat this after the gym if I do the gym in the first morning and not work or content. Avocado, pumped with fats. Okay, really good for us. Pumped with fats, really good for testosterone and hormones. Steak, pumped with protein, pumped with micronutrients and macronutrients and fat as well. Incredible. And then you're putting salt on the steak, so you're getting your salt levels as well. Mushrooms, look, depends on what you think about mushrooms. I'm not going to say much. For me, it was more about the taste. Those mushrooms were sauteed in butter, grass-fed butter, so they tasted immaculate. And then we've got eggs at the bottom, and eggs are just a superfood. They are packed with almost all the micronutrients that your body needs. Selenium, choline, fucking magnesium, zinc, vitamin, ABC, whatever it is. And on top of that, cholesterol and protein. Cholesterol is key for building testosterone. Don't be afraid of cholesterol. One average egg has around 200 milligrams of cholesterol, and the recommended daily limit, I believe, for cholesterol is around 300 or 400 milligrams. So it's absolutely ridiculous. Don't be afraid of cholesterol. Have like 8 eggs per day if you can. It's going to be so good for you. Apart from that, a couple other things are herbs and spices, tea, meat, dairy, fruits and vegetables, nuts, and honey. These are all foods that our ancestors would have been able to access naturally, okay? Let's get into it. Oh, by the way, we'll get into dairy as well, because you might be thinking, wait, cheese, don't they process that? Yes, but it's minimally processed, and I'll get into that. Oh, by the way, I might just move the camera up here or something. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier. Cool, there we go. Let's get into the next topic. Oops, fuck. So, what the fuck isn't primal eating? Simply anything that our ancestors 500 years ago wouldn't be eating, you also shouldn't be eating. That's simple, okay? So things in like packages, cereals, crackers, cookies, ready meals, soup bases, farmed fucking salmon and shit like that. Sugary and colorful human-made foods like ice creams, lollies, candies, those sort of things. Chocolate syrups and thickeners and sauces, those kind of things, stay away from. Sweet sodas and artificially made drinks like Monsters, Coke, Red Bull, all that bullshit. And replacements for already existing natural foods like vegan cheese, margarine, oat milk, and all that shit. Avoid that as well. Or avoid, vegan meat. Avoid that at all costs. All you have to do, if you don't believe me, the next time you go to the supermarket, turn to the ingredient list of any one of these products and you will see what I'm talking about. They are filled lines after lines of ingredients that you can't even pronounce or spell correctly. And that is a massive issue. MVP tip, again at the bottom, is anything with artificial or scientific sounding ingredients. Avoid it at all costs, okay? If you start to see numbers and codes and tetra and hydroxy and carbonated or bullshit like weird words, avoid that product. It's not good for you. Here is the MVP meal. This is the most valuable plate. Oh, this is the most valuable plate meal, okay? So I'm going to show you how simple it is to get pretty much all your nutrition needs in one plate or even one pan. That's the beauty of this, okay? So let's get straight into it. As you can see on the right-hand side, this plate focuses on all the key nutrients. Avocados, again, we've got fats. Eggs, we're meeting all our micronutrient needs, most of our micronutrient needs, and protein and cholesterol, really good for testosterone and building muscle. If you're curious, that's about 3 eggs on the right, scrambled. Beef, we've got protein, and ground beef is actually really high in micronutrients as well, so that's key. And then we've got fruits. So tomatoes and cucumbers, they're actually fruits, and avocados actually fruit as well, I believe. And so they serve it as our carbohydrate needs. Now, cucumbers, they're not actually very high in carbohydrates. They're mostly water. And so are actually tomatoes, and avocados are actually really high in fat. But fruits you can implement, which I haven't in this one plate, are things like berries and apples and, shit like that. Side note, I limit hard carbs like rice because I am building a business. Now, as we talked about earlier, I fast in the morning, and if I eat rice as part of my diet, I also mentally notice a difference in my ability to focus and concentrate. That's why I don't eat rice. I eat fruit instead. I don't notice the same thing with fruit. And some people actually do. That's the thing. And we should actually say experiment with this and find out what works for you, because you might have fucking allergies. Your genetic information is different. You're from a completely different country. You know, I grew up in both Australia and Turkey, so I'm accustomed to do two different climates, two different, you know, seasons and genetic food and whatnot. So, you know, you're different, everyone's different. So experiment with this as well. This plate, however, should serve as the foundations of your meals. And again, I will show you many more different types of foods like this as we go on, and many images. So just hang in for that. You can change the beef mince for things like chicken thighs. You can do it with things like steak, strip steak. You can have duck. You can have whatever you want. You can even double the portion of that, okay? You can change the fat, the avocado, with other things like cheese. You can even add more avocado. You can put olive oil over your beef mince and your eggs. You can have whole butter with some honey, which goes into carbohydrates. You can have honey on this plate. You can have fruits. You can have rice, organic rice and organic potatoes or organic sweet potatoes as well on this plate. Just experiment with it. I don't eat those. I just don't like, they're tasty as fuck, don't get me wrong, but I notice I can't focus that well and I notice some gut issues. So that's why I don't eat it. The eggs honestly should be a staple every morning. So don't replace your eggs at all costs. Have the eggs every single morning. That's going to serve as the foundations of building testosterone and really get you ahead, especially when you're young. As I've talked about in the channel on different other videos, which you can check on the top link, or not the top link, but in the description. Excuse me, sorry, what am I talking about? They're all in this channel, sorry. I recently moved all the videos into this one channel so that I can focus, which actually goes into my point, as I was going to say, is if you couple this diet with focusing on one really important goal in your life and you obsess about it and you put everything to it, your testosterone is absolutely going to skyrocket. Because I talked about this in my other video about testosterone, where it's completely useless, for your body to be producing all this testosterone and masculine energy with this diet, with working out, if you're not using that energy to put into something worth building. That could be a physique. But if you're just doing your maintenance workouts and you're not going hard in the gym and you've got this testosterone, eventually over time, your body is going to want to balance, because that's what your body does. It's an efficient machine like a computer on low power mode. It always looks for balance because just in case there's danger, it's going to need all that energy. So if you're not, again, focused on a big life-changing goal for yourself, unfortunately, the testosterone boost that you're experiencing with this diet, it's not going to last forever and you'll start to feel lazy and lost again. So you need to be completely aligned to a mission, which I talk about again on this channel and you can watch. So let's go to the next slide. Cost. What's the cost? Is it expensive? If you focus on the staples, it is the cheapest thing that you can do. Why? Because now you're suddenly getting rid of all the bullshit snacks that you were buying, which by the way, aren't even cheap anymore. Okay? A packet of chips at my local store costs almost $9 now. The bottom price is $6. It's absolutely ridiculous, right? $6 for a bag of chips or $9 for half a kilo of beef mince. Come on, guys, let's let's literally do the math here. Okay? You could be paying $4.95, $3.95 for soda, like the large ones, 1.5 liters, or you could get 2 liters of fucking organic milk for $6 or $5, $1 extra. That's going to go so much longer than eating shit food. So now that you're, getting rid of the bullshit in your diet, like the sweet chocolates filled with seed oils and whatnot, and the chips and the sauces and all these different drinks that not only you're buying in your fridge, by the way, and as groceries, but you're buying throughout your day-to-day, right? You're going to cafes and getting matcha lattes and milkshakes. When you go out to dinner, you're getting all these different sides, right? Like now, if I go out to a steak restaurant, I'm only getting the steak. I don't get any other sides. That's it, just steak. So I'm actually saving money. I'm eating less, but I'm eating more of the more important foods. Again, when you're, going to work, as you're going to work, you might get a smoothie that's going to cost you $11. Whereas you could just get a coffee, a black coffee, that's going to cost you $3-4, right? You might be getting croissants. And by the way, again, like I said, I'm eating 80% of the time healthy. 20% of the time, I do cheat. I love my croissants. I love my pain au chocolat. So I do eat those. But you got to ask yourself the question, where am I in my life? Okay, where am I in my life? Am I going to go all in right now? Or, am I going to go all in and then I'm going to relax out a little bit and embrace what Thailand is doing? But all that to say, you're actually going to save money because you're getting rid of a lot of shit foods. Focusing on the staples, eggs, you should always have eggs in your house, and you should always have ground beef, a good quality oil, whether that's grass-fed, grass-finished butter, whether that's extra virgin olive oil. I recommend extra virgin organic coconut oil. That's going to be the cheapest and the most abundant source of oil for you to use, depending on which country you're in. If you're in Asia, it's super easy to get here. And even in Australia, like I get half a kilo for like almost $4, which is pretty good. And it goes a long way. Okay. So that's going to be a good quality oil and good source of carbs. I recommend frozen berries. They go so handy. You can also do rice and sweet potatoes. They will come in handy as well. And you can do other fruits, whatever to your liking. Those are your staples, guys. Those will serve as the foundations. So focus all your money on those. And then you can start to upgrade incrementally and add more things and change things as you like, depending on your income and your life, obviously. So things that you can consider afterwards are things like cheese, organs, yogurt, juice, salts, organic stuff. What that means is essentially, if all you can afford in the staples section of this page is, let's say, commercial ground beef and not grass-fed ground beef, well, if you increase your income or you save more money, you can upgrade from commercial ground beef to grass-fed ground beef and then to, regeneratively farmed, organic, grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef, which is probably the highest quality thing that you can get. Does that make sense? So instead of getting caged eggs, for example, because that's all you can afford, which is better than getting fucking noodle packets, which are literally cancerous, by the way. So you're all on the right path, okay? But you can upgrade from caged eggs to free-range eggs and then to pasture-raised organic eggs. And that's going to be the highest quality that you can get. Or you can add other things like cheese, organs, yogurt, juice, and other fruits and other meats like steaks and, whatever. Do not consider supplements until you have the staples in order, okay? You can see supplements up here. Now, I'm not a hypocrite. Up here, I do not have things like vitamin D. I've actually got zinc here, which I take sometimes because I'm not able to eat steak all of the time or like good quality meat all of the time. Sometimes I do chicken, sometimes I do like not meat at all. But up there, I've only got herbal supplements and magnesium, which I'll talk about as well. But the herbal supplements I have are things like psyllium husk, moringa, organic leaf, ashwagandha. I've got shilajit. I've got milk thistle, NAC+, which is a massive antioxidant and which is incredible, by the way, for me. And I've been using it inconsistently for a while. I've got to get back into my stack. But that's it. So I do use supplements, but I use herbal supplements. If you get onto this diet, you will never need another mineral. You will never need another multivitamin or a vitamin B complex or a fucking, iron complex or zinc. You won't even need that kind of things. If you incorporate organs like kidney and heart and liver, you won't even need magnesium as well. I'll talk about magnesium in the future again. You won't need protein powder. You won't need any of that kind of stuff. Creatine is still recommended because you're going to have to eat a lot of food to get like 10, 15 grams of creatine. But you won't need any of that, all that other bullshit. So suddenly you're saving like $100 every 2 weeks on protein powder, guys. You're saving money on pre-workouts. You're saving money on post-workouts and fucking Gatorade and Powerade. Look at how much money we've already saved by hopping onto this diet, right? So let's go into the next point. Here are my personal recommendations. Now I'll just move this camera around. Okay, we'll talk about this first. In terms of meat, like we talked about, ground beef is the best value for the money that you can get. Why? It's even above steak. Not in terms of taste, not in terms of ease, but ground beef is better nutritionally because it comes from all the other parts of the cow, that are usually discarded. All the cartilage, all the fatty parts, the muscle and the tissue. And that has a lot of protein and fats and collagen and micronutrients in there that serve as the foundations of our diet. 80-20 means 80% lean beef, 20% fat. That's going to be the best value. Fruits, frozen berries are cheap and easy to store. Just buy frozen berries in bulk. You'll get it for even cheaper. Get a couple kilos of blueberries, get a couple kilos of strawberries, whatever it is, and just store it and eat it that way. With yogurt and honey, that is literally like a bomb for your fucking gut. Your gut is gonna love it. Absolutely love it. Vegetables, you can consider sweet potatoes. On top of that, you can absolutely do things like onions as well, and things like, for example, what else is there, man? Onions. Yeah, you could do onions, ginger, garlic. I use, zucchinis. I'll eat here and there. Tomatoes, again, cucumbers we've talked about. I'll eat here and there. No worries. I'll have a salad here and there as well, but they don't serve as the foundations of my diet. In terms of vegetables, this only applies to carbohydrates. So if you want to eat carbohydrates and a lot of it, sweet potatoes is probably the MVP option when it comes to that. In terms of dairy, cheddar cheese blocks, lovely. Milk, absolutely delicious. Yogurt and kefir and eggs. Eggs, again, should serve as the staples of your diet. And oils, things you can consider, ghee or butter, beef tallow, coconut oil, duck fat. I recommend coconut oil, honestly. That's my recommendation. I think it's such a nice, beautifully tasting oil, and it's quite affordable as well, especially if you live in Asia. I live in Australia. Let's get into the next slide, shall we? Oh, sorry. Actually, before we do that, let me just go through the foods that I've got here, photos. Forgot about that. So here, as you can see, I've got at the top here, free-range eggs. This is in Australia, Woolworths. Manning Valley free-range eggs. That's one of my recommendations for the budget option. On the right here, I've got a shopping basket. In here, I've got strawberries. I've got a sweet potato, as you can see. Underneath, I've got avocados. And this little paper bag is actually coconut flakes. So 100% single ingredient coconut flakes. Now, on the left here, I've got paneer cheese. I've got cheddar cheese. I've got more cheddar cheese. And then I've got halloumi cheese. In the back, I've got red Leicester cheese from England. And then I've got Bulgarian feta cheese. On the right, I've got organic yogurt. Then I've got ricotta, more bocconcini. I've got cold pressed orange juice. I've got kefir. And then underneath, I think I've got grass-fed finished beef mince. So hope that serves as some inspiration for you so that you can build your own foundations. This is more advanced. This whole thing cost me actually quite a lot. It was quite expensive. I was bulking up on food so that I can store it longer. That was my intention. But pick and choose. This should serve as like, oh shit, okay, you can do this. Let me consider this and let me spice up my diet. It absolutely does not need to be boring, guys. And the next few slides will absolutely prove what I'm about to say, which we'll get into right now. Here is what I eat day to day, guys. This is the most important section. This is the gold. This is what you've been waiting for because it is absolutely realistic. I've maintained this while going to the gym, working part-time and full-time, doing content and other shit as well. Focusing on self-improvement habits, going for my walks, meditation, all that shit, which takes up time, absolutely. So let's begin. Coconut water. See? I practice what I preach, guys. If you start to eat this way, then again, you can absolutely afford to eat like absolute shit 20% of the time. That is something you can absolutely do, and your body will not take a major hit in terms of weight, in terms of health, in terms of disease or whatnot. It won't, because your body has adapted to eating super clean. However, in the moment, when you do chug a fucking 100-gram sugary milkshake, and all you've been doing for the past 3 months is eating super clean, you will have the biggest crash you've ever felt in your life. So, warning, let's get into what I eat day to day. And by the way, if you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and like the video so you'll be notified and whatnot of, I don't know, whatever YouTubers say, man, just subscribe. On the top left, this is something I had in Bali. We've got rare steak. The reason I eat my steak rare is the nutrients are more available before you cook them to death. So I eat it rare. On the left, again, I've got runny eggs. Same principle applies. I'm not worried about disease, guys. No worries. We've got house-made chimichurri. We've got some house-made sauces, grass-fed finished butter, and sourdough. Now, bread, isn't that a cardinal sin? Yes. Modern bread is absolutely a cardinal sin, but sourdough bread that's organic, that's locally made, is absolutely great for you. It will serve as carbohydrates and it is fermented, so it's great for your gut as well. Don't overdo it though. At the end of the day, it is still wheat, it is still carbohydrates, and there's pretty much nothing else in it. This was a Bali meal that I would have straight after my gym meals. Very high in protein, very high in micronutrients. That's going to allow us to recover. Very, very high in cholesterol as well. That's going to allow our testosterone boost to happen. Oops. Salt, very important post-workout as well, and generally carbohydrates. So afterwards, I will, after this, I'll go for a smoothie bowl at my nearest cafe and I'll replenish my glycogen stores that way as well. On the right next to it, we've got steak. So rare steak, again, almost on the blue, but steak serves as the foundations of my meals. Wherever I can afford it, I'll always have steak. It's always delicious. And it's super, super easy to make, especially if you're cooking it rare as well. Guys, I apologize, man. I'm stuttering like crazy. My mouth is super dry. On the right, beside that, we've got köfte. So I'm Turkish, and köfte is a beautiful, beautiful dish in our country. Scrambled eggs and a half an avocado with olive oil dressing and some spices. Yes, guys, you can absolutely use spices. Don't be afraid of spices because they're in small amounts as well. It's not going to hurt you. Matter of fact, if you're using nice, healthy, clean herbal spices, they're actually super, super good for you as well. So don't be afraid of those. I use those, no problem. Köfte, again, straight up protein, eggs, straight up protein, fats. We've got avocados there and olive oil serving as pure recovery after a gym workout. On the bottom left is another post-workout meal that I ate in Bali. This was at my gym instead of at a restaurant directly above. In this photo on the bottom left corner, I've got 300 grams of beef mince, 3 scrambled eggs, cucumbers, tomatoes, and half an avocado as well. Again, serving as the foundations. Right next to that, scrambled eggs. Guys, you get the memo, always scrambled eggs, some cheese. We've got some mushrooms on the bottom left, enoki mushrooms, and some avocado. On the bottom right, this is a more fruitful colorful platter. We've got boiled eggs. What's that called? Olives, avocado, papaya, 2 types of cheese. We've got cheddar cheese, and I believe we've got feta cheese there, walnuts, and bottom underneath that is sauteed garlic with spices. So really interesting foods. Now, one more slide. Let's get into the next slide. Let's keep it rolling. On the bottom left is my meal prep for my full-time and part-time job at my family business, guys. So no excuses. You can make 1 container filled with your meal prep. In there, I've got around about 200 grams of beef strips, 200 grams of chicken breast strips. I've got cucumbers or pickled cucumbers, and I've packed it with cheese, ginger, and garlic in there, and zucchini. So 1 glass container is just packed with lots of food. Right next to it above is breakfast meal. What is that? 5 sunny side up eggs with chili flakes and cheese on top of it. Directly next to it on the right is again steak, but this time with spices. You might be thinking, yo, Thailand, that's sesame seed. Isn't that a seed? And isn't that a seed oil? Aren't seeds bad? Yes, but this is a very, very small amount of seeds. I'm not worried about it. And again, 80-20%. I'm eating clean 80 to 90% of the time, and the 10 to 20% of the time my body eats like this, it's not going to be a problem, guys. On the bottom, watermelon and feta. This is a MVP fucking dessert. If you ever feel, you've got a craving for sugar, but nothing too sweet, and you want something a bit salty on the side, watermelon and feta or rock melon and feta is an MVP meal. That is a Turkish Mediterranean dish. Let's fucking go. And respect to my Greek brothers as well. Greeks eat this as well. Oh, and the Lebanese people. Let's go, baby. So those are pretty much what I eat day to day, guys. I hope that's helped you out. Focus on the foundations, then build on top and change. Again, let me remind you of the staples, the foundations. The protein, steaks, ground beef, lamb, chicken, duck. You can experiment with different cuts of each animal listed. Carbohydrates, fruits, rice, potatoes, vegetables, things like zucchinis and tomatoes, which none of them are vegetables actually, but onions and, leek, if you will, or other things that you want to try out. Just experiment with it. You will notice I haven't mentioned things like kale and spinach and whatnot. I personally don't eat them. I personally don't like them that much for other reasons. Experiment with it if you like it or not. See if your body reacts to it. If it does, avoid it. Fats, we're talking about things like dairy cheese, feta cheese, halloumi cheese, brie, camembert, all different kind of things, truffle cheese, if you will. Animal fats, beef tallow, duck fat. Let's see, what else is there? That's all that comes to mind. I wish I could say chicken fat, but no such thing. And then you've got olive oil and coconut oil as well, guys. Others, let's talk about magnesium. The reason I take magnesium is because unfortunately the soil quality over 100 years of just absolutely plowing the land and spraying it with pesticides has diminished. There is no more magnesium left in the soil, or it's in very, very low quantities. So the food that you eat is actually low in magnesium. That's why I get magnesium, and magnesium should be the first supplement that you buy before you consider anything else. It's going to serve as the foundation, and it's literally being a game changer for me. I don't have any affiliates. Go onto the internet and find one for yourself that works. Personal recommendation, go for magnesium L-threonate and aim to get around 500 to 600 milligrams of that every single day. So that usually looks like around 3 to 4 pills every day. If you take it before bed, you will literally sleep like a baby. So that's my recommendation on terms of magnesium. Quality. Let's talk about quality quickly before we end the video. And I really need to prepare for these a bit more or get some sort of drink because I've run out of coconut water and I've still got a bit more speaking to do. So let's talk about quality. You are what you eat, so choose the highest quality ingredients where you can afford it. Food is tempered with at the genetic level, unfortunately. Genetically modified seeds, fruits, and vegetables do exist, guys. Genetically modified foods absolutely do exist. So that's going to have an effect on our genes, on our body, on our gut, and our brain as well. Think about it like an alien invasion. Our body doesn't know how the fuck to react. It is just completely alien. So it's like an invasion. Now, the levels go like this, and this is an absolute. At the bottom level, the worst technically level, but also the cheapest level, is the commercial standard. That's your commercial beef mince, that's your caged eggs, that's the normal fruits and vegetables that are sprayed with pesticides and possibly genetically modified that you see. That's the rice that you see that's also sprayed with pesticides and whatnot. That's all that genetic stuff. All of that commercial standard, caged eggs and normal beef mince and sprayed tomatoes are 1,000,000 times better than going to Chipotle or KFC or McDonald's and buying ready-made meals and getting food delivered to your door. 1,000,000 times better. Above the commercial standard are things that are free of like nasties, right? They'll have the marketing free of sugar, that have like free of nasties, free of seed oils or free of these chemicals, no artificial flavors added, no colors added, those kind of things. That's probably the next best level. Above that, you're looking at organic. Now, organic is going to be a hot topic in certain countries. In Australia, we do have very strict organic standards, so I'm not too worried down under. But in your country, you might want to do research. Organic is going to be the next best step. That essentially means there's been no use of pesticides or herbicides or insecticides like that on your food. Pasture raised is going to be the next best thing. That usually applies to chickens and eggs and dairy and whatnot. Pasture raised means the chickens are free to roam completely outdoors in open pastures, eating worms and seeds and little different scraps of food. That's probably the healthiest level of chicken that you can get, and it's going to be a game changer for you guys. Grass-fed finished is the next level for beef and meat and dairy. Grass-fed finished butter, grass-fed finished beef tallow, grass-fed finished steaks. Grass-fed is the first stage. Grass-fed and finished is the important terminology here. That's what you want to be looking for. It means that the cows have pretty much been eating grass their entire life. Regeneratively farmed is the next best thing for cows. It means they are on a farm, open fields, and the farm is actively focused on not using herbicides or pesticides or, artificial, fertilizers. And on top of that, they're actually focused on regenerating the land as well. So they're doing active things to help recover the land and bring back the ecosystem. So your food is going to be so much more higher in protein, in micronutrients and whatnot. So it's the next best thing. And the final thing is kind of like wild sourced. It's up there with grass-fed finished, regeneratively farmed. It depends where you're getting your wild source stuff from, if it's a contaminated land or whatnot. But generally, wild source stuff is quite good for you as well. They're clean. Commercial, again, like we talked about, commercial ground beef is still better than organic, regeneratively farmed sugar. Begin your journey with single ingredient foods. As your income grows, invest in higher quality single ingredient foods and then consider supplements. Once you've got the foundations, that's when you should be considering supplements. That was it. If you're locked into this, if you're locked into building your life and you're looking to build the foundations of physique and performance and energy and testosterone, go to the top link in the description. That's a link to our community called Momentum. And that's exactly what I'm working on here to help create and transform you into a high performance, focused and lethal machine. So if you want more, go and check that out. You can go and check out my other channel, my other videos on this channel as well on many different topics. And it's all focused on helping you guys get ahead in your 20s. These are all videos that I wish my 18-year-old self had. That's the only agenda. So that's why content creation is kind of easy for me. All I have to think about is okay, I'm 18 years old. I've just graduated. People are asking me, what am I going to do in my life? What would I tell that 18-year-old person? Yeah, okay, first thing, let's look at your diet. You've been eating like shit. You've got fucking acne all over your face. Your physique is out of whack, all right? So let's go fix your diet. Make sure fix our mental health, fix our physical health, go to the gym, whatnot. All right, cool. Now, what do you want to do with your life? Let's go and explore this job and let's go and learn this and let's do this. So that's what my whole channel is dedicated around. So again, if you want to lock in, go and check that all out. I wish you the best and I'll see you around. Hold on, let me flex up for you. There we go. Need more work, right? My physique, I'm actually a bit small. I need more work. But on the topic of locking in, I'm actually only prioritizing YouTube right now. That's my biggest goal right now. So I'm only going to the gym on my off time when I can actually go. It's not even my priority right now. And that's how you need to prioritize as well. Especially if you're working full-time, studying full-time, doing something else full or part-time, you need to prioritize the little bit of time that you have on the actual thing that's going to change your life, which again, I have videos about in my channel. So go ahead and watch those, guys. Much love and I'll see you around.